Hello everyone. My name is Andy, I am 23 years old and I am an English literature student. Today, I would like to share with you a really interesting and inspiring story about a new student who recently joined our class. Her name is Alicia, and I believe her approach to learning English can inspire many of you. So, this all happened last autumn. We had a new student join our English class, and her name is Alicia. She's originally from Spain, but what really caught my attention was how beautifully she speaks English. Honestly, if you had a conversation with her, you'd never believe that English wasn't her first language. She speaks so confidently, with such clarity and flow, that I had to find out how she got so good. When I spoke to her, I discovered something that I think is going to be incredibly useful for many of you watching this. Alicia told me that she had taken a summer class with the same teacher I have, and during that class, she learned a few amazing techniques that really boosted her English skills. What are these techniques, you ask? Well, Alicia's improvement didn't come from magic, it came from practicing 3 specific techniques regularly: reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud. Let me explain these a little more, so you can see how to incorporate them into your own learning routine. Number 1, reading. Alicia made reading in English a daily habit. But not just any reading, she focused on materials that were interesting and relevant to her life. She picked books, articles, and even blogs written in English about topics she loved, such as travel, culture, and even cooking. By doing this, she learned new vocabulary and context, improved her understanding of sentence structure, and developed a natural feel for the flow of the language. This is something you can start right away. Find something you're passionate about and dive into English material related to that topic. Number 2, shadowing. Now, here's an interesting one: shadowing. Alicia explained that shadowing is a technique where you listen to someone speaking in English and then repeat exactly what they say, trying to mimic their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. It's almost like you're their shadow, copying them. She would do this with videos, podcasts, and even TV shows. She'd listen to the speaker, pause, and then repeat what they said, trying to match their accent and pace. Shadowing helps with pronunciation, listening skills, and speaking speed, and it's something you can do anytime. Just find a video or a podcast and start shadowing. Number 3, thinking aloud. This is the technique that Alicia said made the biggest difference in her English fluency. She calls it thinking aloud. Here's how it works. Instead of thinking in her native language, which is Spanish, by the way, she made a conscious effort to think in English. At first, she kept it simple. She would think about what she was going to do that day or describe what she was doing in real time, in English. She'd say things like, "I'm going to make breakfast now," or "I need to finish my homework." The idea is to get your brain used to functioning in English, so when it's time to speak, you don't have to translate from your native language. Translation takes time and makes you second-guess yourself. When you think in English, you're training your brain to automatically produce English sentences. Alicia explained that at first, it was a bit challenging, but over time, it became second nature. She gradually started thinking in English more and more, until it became almost automatic. And that, she said, was the turning point. She was able to express herself freely in English without translating in her head, which is something so many English learners struggle with. And that, she said, was the turning point. She was able to express herself freely in English without translating in her head, which is something so many English learners struggle with. The impact of thinking aloud. Alicia told me that this simple technique of thinking aloud helped her speak more naturally and confidently. She no longer hesitated or stumbled over her words because she wasn't trying to translate from Spanish to English in her head. She just spoke. And you can do this too. Start with small, simple thoughts. Maybe when you're walking to the store, try to describe what you see or what you're going to buy, in English. When you're cooking, think aloud about the recipe steps in English. Slowly, this practice will make a huge difference. Why I decided to try Alicia's approach. After hearing Alicia's story, I was really inspired. I thought, if she can improve her fluency using these techniques, why can't I? So I decided to adopt her methods myself. Starting with thinking aloud, I've been practicing by talking to myself in English, especially when I'm doing simple tasks like organizing my day, cooking, or even just walking around the house. And I have to say, it's already making a difference. I feel like I'm becoming more comfortable speaking English without having to pause and translate from my native language. Now let's talk about how to start improving your English today. So, for all of you out there who want to speak English fluently and confidently, I encourage you to try out these 3 techniques. Read in English every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Shadow native speakers and try to mimic their pronunciation and rhythm. Think aloud. In English, no matter how simple your thoughts are at first. By practicing these methods regularly, you'll be amazed at how much more natural English will start to feel for you. Now, I want to challenge you. Pick one of these techniques and start practicing it today. Leave me a comment below letting me know which one you chose, and I'll be sure to follow up with you to see how it's going. If you've already tried any of these methods, tell me about your experience. I'd love to hear your success stories or even your struggles so we can learn together. Remember, learning a language is a journey, and the key to improvement is consistency. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, that's how we all learn. So keep going, keep practicing, and soon enough, you'll be speaking English fluently and confidently, just like Alicia. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. See you next time, and happy learning!